there for real quick. And I'm just waiting for the recording to kick in again. And it started. Okay. Okay. Again, I'm going to assume that everyone knows how to get to this screen. I'm going to assume that everyone knows how to get to Launch CRM. And that is where I'm going to start at. Ooh, sorry. And I'll bring it to the center here and make it a heck of a lot bigger. And hopefully you can see that well. And again, I'm going to keep track on the meeting chat to see if anybody comes into the chat. Okay. Now, if you guys, some of you'll have to take notes of different things, and because at the end of this, we'd like to resolve all these questions. So one of the first things is y'all should have, and just admitting Jordy, you should have up here a My Home screen. And that home screen should be showing you your opportunities, your open web leads, your contacts, and your all meetings scheduled. Now, everyone on this meeting, actually, I'll put this onus on you. If you don't have, when you click on My Home screen, if you don't have My Opportunities, my open web leads, my contacts, and my follow-ups for the next 7 days, and that you access it right here, that little drop down. There might be something else there, but in that drop down, you should have one called My Home Screen. If you don't have that, I need you to chat me, and then I will make sure you get that, so you can start there. Okay, so there's two ways customers come into your site. Actually, one more thing before we get started. You have managers. What you're currently looking at is the home manager. Then we have activity manager, contact manager, lead manager, opportunity manager. So when I say the manager, I'm referring to one of these 5 managers over here. The home manager, what you're currently looking at now, is basically, I call it the coffee and donut thing when you come in the morning. This is your overview of what your day is going on. But where you really work all day long is in the opportunity manager. And the opportunity manager is showing all the opportunities that you have open that you're currently working the customer. Your contacts, the people that you record in there, John and Susan Abernathy, and you put their address and so forth. That's the people that you're working, or the names of the people. But what you're working is a 22 Jayco North Point or a Allegro or whatever unit is. That's what you're working on. That's what opportunity is what the customer is looking for. So the opportunity manager is where you'll spend 90% of your time with the in CRM. But let me go back to home. So I'm going to start with a web lead first. So I get assigned a web lead by your manager. In this instance, Sean Cahill is looking for a fifth wheel. If I have a wrong unit here, excuse me, but he's looking for a fifth wheel. And so I open up my web lead. And I look at what it is. He only gave me a phone or an email address. If he gave me a phone number, I'd give him a call. But here he gave me an email address. Actually, let me go ahead and put a cell phone in there. And I'll hit save. So I would either contact Sean by email or phone. So let's say contact him by email first. So he wants to know, do we have one in stock? So here, email address up here. That's going to open up the email activity. And here we have the templates that are built for you. And you all have the ability, your CRM admin for your company has the ability to create more templates if you need more templates. Like we have one here called Write Your Own. You can't have a template that's going to fit every single criteria out there. I'll just put my name there. You can't have all the different criterias out there. So that's why we created a template called Write Your Own, meaning it will put Sean's name up here. It puts this little line here. If you have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to drop me a line. I look forward to helping you, blah, blah, blah. Your name down here. And where it says write your own response, you get rid of that. and type in whatever you want. Yes, we have one in stock. Um, at our location at our Texas City location. Or whatever you want. That's what is the write your own response is. Now, again, this is a web lead, so kind of hit me. I'm gonna hit the drop down again, and we have these organized by these letters in front. A A basically means appropriate for any occasion. C is a CSI type email. FI would be an email coming from the F&I manager. LE would be for web leads. LS is for lost sales. PD is post delivery. PS is post show, and SH is also a show template. And what else we have here done? And WI we have for walk-in letters, which I'm going to do a walk-in also, so I'll reserve those. So one of these up here probably will be do me right to send him an email back. So lead information request with phone. In other words, Sean gave me a phone, so I'll use this one. If I got one with a lead without a phone, I probably use this template. Actually, I'll select that one first. I'm going to excuse me. I'm going to select the template that says request without a phone. And I'll say yes. And so thank you for your information. This is a Texas City. This is Mark Berger. I'm glad to assist you, blah, blah, blah. I've done some research. I have found that. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. Yes, we have one in stock. But these templates you're seeing here are pretty much exactly what they mean. They're just templates. And you can change those whatever you want to fit your needs. And if you notice, this one email, because this is the template that says lead information request without a phone, it has a line in here. I would be glad to call you to answer any other questions you might have on this particular unit. If you'd like, please reply with your phone. He doesn't have a phone number. So I just kind of showing off a little bit how the templates are written here. Please go through all of them and see how they fit your needs. You'll like some better than others. But let me go to the other one that does say lead information request with phone, because the lead did supply a phone. So if I use that template, of course, that line's not there. I'd like to chat you for a few minutes on the phone and get the idea you're looking for. I know that that's what's answered. And again, I've done some research and I have found you get rid of what's currently there and you just put in your own words, whatever you want to say in here. And then you put your name at the bottom or whatever signature you want. And then you go ahead and hit send the email and send and complete. Send and complete will send the email to Sean Cahill, and then we'll put this email in history. So, and by the way, I'll mention this. You wouldn't do it in this case, but you could reassign that. So to somebody else, if you wanted to give somebody else to send this email, but probably wouldn't use it there. So anyway, that's how you send an email in our system to a client. So I'm just going to hit save. I'm not going to send the email right now. I don't want to send it till say 5 o'clock today. So I'll just hit save. And ooh, let me put the dealership name in here. And ooh, salesperson name. I'm not a salesperson in your system. I'll just put Mark. And again, we hit save, but I'm gonna hit save. And what that will do, I'm gonna go ahead and close it. That will put this over here in open activities, awaiting to be sent. So because I didn't send it. Now, if I wanted to send it, I can just go ahead and click right here. That would actually mark it complete. I could actually go ahead and click on that checkbox and then open it up at any time that I want to. It says unsent. And again, I could send the email when I wanted to. But I'm gonna leave that right now. And by the way, when you send it, it will just move it over here to history. So just right here, unsent, here will be sent. I want to call him. I say I call him and I get his voicemail. So this time I'll click on the phone call up here, called Sean, and down here I'll just put left voicemail or talk to him. Whatever the result of the phone call would be right here. The date and time you did it. So today's the 11th, and it's about 1:15, so I'll just put in 1 o'clock is accurate enough for me. And I'd go ahead and hit send, and I'd mark as complete because I did leave him a voicemail. Now that particular follow-up is going to be in history. So as you see, it's not there. Let me hit refresh, and it is there. So I still have one outstanding activity, and I have another activities here waiting to be done. But again, I left a voicemail. I'll probably say I want to call the guy again tomorrow. So I click on the phone call again, or whatever note you want to write to yourself. I want to do it tomorrow. I want to do it before the end of the day. So my best practice is just put 5 p.m., meaning I want to call the guy before the end of the day. And I closed it, but it's open because obviously it's not tomorrow yet. And I'll close that. I'll go open to activities. So here, now I have two follow-ups for Sean, an email and a phone call. So let's assume that I get a hold of Sean and we have a conversation and he is a good prospect. Or take it back. Let's do the rarity. He's not a good prospect. He is just a flake that is not worth working with. So at this point, I would come up here and I would hit disqualify. And it's going to ask for a reason. And usually the only time that you really disqualify a lead is they're not a viable candidate. You don't know really why they got in contact with you. So, and I would say that you would disqualify leads probably 1 out of 100. It doesn't happen very often. Most of the time, they're they're um, they're valid. They're good. But if you can't contact them because all the information is bad, the bad email address, bad phone numbers, then that would be a reason to disqualify them. Or we do have other. Um, there's another reason. You can't really list all the reasons there could be, but that's why we have the other. You disqualify the lead. But just so you know, if you disqualify a lead, and I'll actually disqualify this one. And so, you see in the action now, he is disqualified. And you want to save your changes? Yep. And Sean Cahill is no longer here because he is no longer an open web lead. But now let's say 2 days later, he calls up and says, "Hey, I sent you a web lead and I got your email or I got your voicemail, but you haven't called me back or something." We rarely delete anything anymore. So if I go to lead manager and I want to look at all my disqualified leads, and actually let me make this bigger. I'm going to kind of hide the back screen, but that's okay. So hopefully y'all can see it a little bit better. But I want to see all my disqualified leads. I'm going to hit search, and there's Sean Cahill. And if I right click on Sean Cahill, I can reactivate him and make him open again. So again, we delete very little anymore. We just put them in different buckets. So when I couldn't contact him, make anything relevant, he went to the disqualified bucket. But now for some reason, he's back. I'm going to hit reactivate. He is no longer disqualified, so he disappeared there. And if I go to home, he should be right back over here, and I'm back to where I started. And everything I did, I am still when I disqualified Sean Cahill, I was the owner of him. And as I reactivate him, I'm the owner of him. That has not changed. My open activities, that actually is true. When I disqualified him, it took all the open activities and put them to history, meaning it weren't valid anymore. I was done with him. So when you disqualify, you're saying I'm done. I don't need anything open on him because there's some reason that I didn't want him. So if I want to call him again tomorrow, then again, I'll go ahead and create a new phone call, which actually I'll just do that real quick. Call again, and I'll put tomorrow. And same convention, I'll just put it by 5 p.m. And I'll hit save. So now I have my open follow-up with Sean Cahill. So quick summary before I go on to now that was the abnormal thing, disqualifying. Now that what we're gonna do now is qualify the normal thing that you're probably gonna do with 99% of your web leads. So quick recap, I got a web lead in, that web lead appeared over here. I double clicked on that web lead, it came up. I could email him, I could call him, I could schedule follow-ups, I can disqualify everything you just saw. Um, and again, 99% of the time, you're going to qualify him, meaning you want him in the database. You want to open up an opportunity for him. So by doing that, you hit the qualify button. And when you hit qualify, the first thing it's going to do is look to see, is he a contact in any store in your company? Was he entered in by parts? Was he entered by service? Was he entered anywhere in your system? And the system did not find Sean Cahill or that email address or that phone number. And it does use an algorithm. The major looking for it is the email, but if I had a matching phone number, it would say, hey, I think there's a possible match here if the two phone numbers matched. So the only thing I different here, let me hit cancel real quick. So the first time I said he was not worth it, so I hit disqualify. This time I'm saying he is worth it, which is your normal process because most web leads are worth it. It looks for a record. And if it doesn't find a record, it's going to say down here, lower left, hey, create a new contact and let's create a new opportunity. And give me the opportunity name. Well, I don't need to know his name again. I already know he's Sean Cahill, so I'm going to have to get rid of that. And I'm going to type in looking for a fifth wheel. I don't really have a lot of specifics yet with him, and so this is your opportunity. The name and everything else about the opportunity is a work in process. It's an electronic worksheet that you're writing down notes about what the guy is looking for. Fifth wheel, 30 to 35 feet. Just some little short notes of what this opportunity is all about. And I'm going to hit qualify. Now, when I hit qualify, if you can, let your eye come up here to the upper left-hand corner, see what happens to that web lead and what new tab hops up here. So I'm hitting qualify now. And now if you noticed in the upper right-hand corner, upper left-hand corner, it's red instead of blue. And that signifies this is a contact now. I just created a contact in the system for Sean Cahill with all the same information. And I created the opportunity for him. And I'm going to click on edit opportunity. And this is the opportunity that was created for Sean. And it brought over from the web lead everything that was in the web lead there. Like in the web lead has source type web lead and it has source camperland. The web lead had fifth wheel and escape. It had this up here in the stock number field. And that's about all that the web lead had. Some web leads have lots of information. Some web leads don't have very much information at all. And this is where you start filling in the blanks, so to speak. Let's say he's looking for 2020 to 2023. He is right now. I'm in the product selection with him stage. The stage is where you're at with him currently. I would say he's hot, warm, cold. A good definition I heard, and y'all can kind of adopt what you want to, but a good definition of for opportunities being hot, warm, or cold. Hot means you got a gut feeling they're going to buy within the next 30 days. This is a buying customer. Warm, the next 6 months. Cold, outside that time frame. It's just a way to bucketize it. I think if you all kind of sit back and think about it, how many people do you currently have that are going to buy within the next 30 days? And that's going to be some salesmen, that'll be 4 people, that might be 10 people. It'll be different for everyone, obviously. But ultimately, every one of y'all could have, I don't know, 100, 150, a lot of opportunities sitting out there. And if you want to just focus on the ones that are going to buy in the next 30 days, that's where this bucketizing works very nicely. Just put in here the people that are going to buy in the next 30 days. So again, use it how you will. I have the best practice I've heard from salespeople is that kind of buckets for all of your opportunities, hot, warm, cold. Towing capacity, say 19,000 pounds. What's his tow vehicle? He has a F-250, turbo diesel. Good spell, right? And he has a trade, yes or no. And by the way, on the trade, if you notice, when I go to unit type, these are what's listed here. And like, does anybody see four-door sedan? No. So if I come up here and I type in four-door, I'm just trying to show you, even though four-door sedan wasn't listed there, you can type it in. This is coming from your inventory table. So that's is what you guys normally carry. You guys don't probably carry four-door sedans, so that's why it's not listed. So if something is not listed that you are trading in, just type it in, and it'll allow you to type it in. Same thing with brand. Like here, I don't see Alpenlight here. So if it's Allegro Bay, then obviously select Allegro Bay. But if they were trading in a Alpenlight, and by the way, I always do everything in uppercase. It just looks a lot better when you're reviewing it. You type in Alpenlight, and you type in 29RK or whatever it is. So again, just so you know, these fields are table driven, but they are also free form text for you to type in whatever, because the trade possibility is fairly endless. And that one is a fifth wheel, so I will select fifth wheel. Trade comments, here you would just put in soft floor, 2 ACs, gen prepped, anything about the trade that you want to remember. And down here under comments, that's so far the comments we have. Do you have one in stock? I want to add a new comment, and wants this to be gen prepped and max air vent in bathroom. Whatever's appropriate for the opportunity, and that is going to sit here. The comments here are about the notes to the of your client. And again, if you can, this is your customer wants, customer looking for. Your electronic worksheet. A lot of different names you can give this, but this is where you put all your notes. And let me hit save. I would not. Will paper ever go away? Like you have a yellow notepad and you walk around with a customer and you write things down. I don't think that paper will ever go away. But this is your electronic way of finding it here, and then obviously searching it very quickly. And that is one thing we're going to go over, is how to search for your opportunities. And actually, let me put up here North Point. Say he's looking for a North Point 310 rear living room twin slides. The opportunity name is a very key point, searching field. Later on in this video, I'm going to type in North Point. I'm going to type in 310 RLTS, and I will find this opportunity. So if down the road you got 200-300 opportunities sitting around, you talk to people for a couple 3 years, and somebody finally comes in on something that or something comes in, you go, God, I want all the people I've talked to that want a North Point. Just type in North Point, you'll find all the people that you have been working on North Point. And that's the whole reason we put data, excuse me, into systems. So again, just so you know, I am monitoring my chat and I see nothing in there. So please feel free to jump in there if you have questions. So what have I done so far? I had a lead over here. I double clicked on the lead. I called the customer. We talked back and forth. I liked what he had to say. He liked what I had to say. And so I qualified him. When I hit qualify, it created the contact for me. And then it also created the opportunity. And then Because I talked to him, I hit the edit button here, which opened up the opportunity, and I added more information to it. And this information is going to change constantly until you sell him. This is just this is an electronic worksheet. Now, one thing as a note to y'all that do like to use paper and write things down, let me hit save again here. Let's say you take a picture of your notes. You put it on your desk and you take your camera and you take a picture of your notes. Well, just so you know, we have in the contact, there you go, in the contact something called manage documents. So when you click on manage documents, um, again, let's pretend you have a yellow pad, a piece of paper on your desk, all of different various notes you took while you're talking to the customer. And you don't want to lose those notes. You don't want to, but you don't want to file them either. So you take a picture, take your lightning cable, whatever you have, and attach it to your computer. And now that will show up on your under File Explorer. If you need help with your IT people how to do that, get with them. But again, take the picture that you took on your phone, get it to your computer. I'll leave that up to you on how to get it to your computer. But once it's on your computer, it's a file. You click on Manage Documents, and then I'm going to select some files. So now I would navigate to that um, place that my phone's connected to. So I'll just click on Pictures here. And surely I have some pictures somewhere on my computer. Um, well, let's just pretend this is a picture. Could swear. Oh, I'm on your server. That's why there's no pictures here. Okay, just pretend this is a picture file. It'll do, by the way, you can save non-pictures with your computer too. Like this is a text document. I'm going to click on Open, and if you see at the bottom, it's saying Uploading File, and it's right here. So you can save with the contact pictures, obviously, what you're looking at here, text files, Excel spreadsheets, PDF files, anything but a movie file that you can store with that contact. So anytime that you go to Sean Cahill and you click on Action Manage Documents, you are going to see whatever you loaded up there. And then again, I really like the idea of your worksheet, your handwritten worksheet there, because you might put something else there that you want to take a look at while you're working the customer. And I'm just going to go ahead and remove that. And by the way, you can get rid of it. I'm hitting delete, and now it's gone. So it doesn't stay there forever if you don't want it to. And in CRM, if you're all familiar with that, a good best practice is the contact is who they are, the opportunity is what they want, and you want to follow up until you sell the guy. So currently, I'm going to go to open activities here. There's no open activities, so I want to call him again. He just left. Actually, a couple of things I want to do. He just uh, actually I'll set an appointment up. That's what I did. So I called him. We talked, and he said, "Yep, I'm going to come in tomorrow." So I'm going to go to Add Activity. I'm going to click on Appointment. Subject coming in. To look at. Whatever you want to write to yourself, location, lot, date, tomorrow, 2 p.m. I'll leave it 2 p.m. and save. And so in my opinion, that is called a CRM entry. If somebody says to you, hey, did you enter them in CRM? What they're really saying is, did you either create or update their contact record? Did you either create or update their opportunity information? And did you update or create a follow-up? All three of those. Because why in heck would you ever create a contact and not record what they want? Why would you ever create what they want and not schedule a follow-up until they buy? So that's why I call a CRM entry. And the kind of the beauty of it is now you can forget about it. You've done everything that you need to do with Sean. So I'm going to close all three tabs. I'm just clicking on this X up here. And I'm going to hit refresh. So now I have my opportunity here from Sean sitting right there. And I will get that fixed. If you noticed the rating hot, let me double click, make sure I did select hot. I'm pretty sure I did. And I did select hot. So I will get that fixed. The hot and cold should be appearing here so you know what rating they are. But anyway, the opportunity is sitting right here. Obviously, his information is down here. The contact record for Sean. Over here, uh, he's no longer there because I qualified him. I said create a contact and an opportunity for him. So this your web lead bucket over here pretty much should be empty. Uh, Again, I'll let you decide on the exact process of it, but most salespeople I talk to say, hey, within very short amount of time, and when I say short, 15 minutes, an hour, very quickly amount of time, I know if this contact is good or not good, or is worth following up or not worth following up. See your manager for maybe a better definition of that, because ultimately that's who you work for. So what is the decision making on qualify, disqualifying? But it should be something that happens fairly darn quick. Now, yeah, you may send an email to them and you not hear back. So that might linger until tomorrow. But web leads, you can't let them sit around too darn long. They will get caught up by somebody quickly. So I would say a good best practice. This is always empty by the 5 o'clock every day. Whatever you got assigned, you either qualified or disqualified at the end of the day. And last but not least, down here, this is all your follow-ups in the next 7 days. Coming up, and of course, this is my Sean. I have a phone call to Harvey Specter tomorrow, and I have an appointment at 2 p.m. with Sean here today. And that's your whole goal right here, is to have your coffee and donut home manager screen up to date, allowing you know what you have to do. So I'm gonna just kind of pause here for a second and see if anything pops up on the chat. Um, that was an example of a web lead. I'm fixing to do a walk-in, and I see nothing there, so I will proceed. Let's go ahead and do a walk-in. Same thing. The customer comes in. Mike Morris. We talk. Him and his wife are walking around, and we talk about different things and go around. And it's now time for me to put him in the system. Now, when is it appropriate to put a customer into your computer, into the system? And I take it back. When should you put a customer into the system? And my answer is always has been when appropriate. Some people, hey, come on inside, let's get things looking and let's get a quote and I'll get that off to you. And they'll say, great. And they'll sit down and they'll give you all the information in the world. Some people will look at you and say, no, I'm out of here. And they'll turn around and go away. So when do you put them in the system? Again, when it's appropriate. So I'll leave that up to you. So, but bottom line, at this point, it's appropriate. Whatever the time that was is, it's appropriate. So I'm going to go to Contact Manager, because the first thing I want to do, I want to see if he is in the system already. Excuse me. And right now it defaulted to all my contacts. Well, I want to check the whole company. So I'm going to go to all contacts. Now it found it found 0 because of down here. If you notice, it says remove. And if it didn't have remove there and it was just blank and I'd use all contacts, it would take a good 2, 3, 4 minutes for you to see all the data in here, all, I don't know, 50,000 or 70,000 customers that you have. And you're just actually searching your database. You don't need to see a list of all 50,000 customers. You're not going to scroll 50,000 customers. You're searching 50,000 customers. So where it says remove, you come here and just type in Morris. And again, I would do it in uppercase. Now, I say uppercase, it will search either way. The system doesn't care. But again, just a good best practice. I'm typing in Morris, and now I'm going to hit search. And now it found 167 Morrises out there. So I'm going to kind of narrow it down a little bit. It's got a lot of it in here. His name's Mike. So I'm actually going to put the letter M here. And I'm going to change this radio button to starts with. I want to see all people whose first name starts with M and last name starts with Morris, and hit search again. And that just got me down to 13 different records very, very quickly. And I'm looking here and I don't see Mike Morris. My Mike Morris has got a 727 uh, phone number. I don't see that here. I look over here. He lives on 123 Main Street. I don't see him here. So I don't think I have a match for my Mike Morris here. So I'm going to click on contact and I'm going to type in. Now I say Mike, but again, a good best practice is, hey, Mike, for legal title work, is your name Mike or Michael? And again, whatever he tells you. He goes Mike, then you put Mike here. If he says Michael, put Michael there. A couple quick things, if you did not know this already. The greet as field defaults to the first name, but here I would actually change that to Mike. The greet as is how to greet this customer in an informal way in an email or a letter. So that's why you would have it Mike. And of course, you could put here Mike and Susan. If he had a spouse and they were together. And so the email or letter would go out, Dear Mike and Susan. Don't be afraid of using uppercase, because in the email or letter, it will proper case it for you and it will look appropriate to the customer. Over here, you fill in what you know. So Morris at gmail.com, phone number 727. By the way, I did that too quick. Let me get rid of that for a second. Okay, currently we have no contact information in the system. And a config that you guys asked us to set up was this. If you do not have a contact information, if you had no information to contact the customer, you can't save him. So all right now I know his name, but I have no contact information. That's why you see all this red here, meaning, hey, something's required to save this person. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the email back in here again. And when I do that, most of the red dots go away, or actually all of them go away, because I gave the system one way to contact him. You go ahead and get rid of it again. So what happens if I just put in a cell phone number here? Watch what happens to the dots now, or most of the dots now. They go away because I gave, again, the system one way to contact. But this one did survive because the way y'all did it, you asked us to say, hey, we want our salespeople, or we want anybody entering, put something in the CRM, to either put in a properly formatted email address, like Morris at gmail.com, or the word none. Either one of those will satisfy that field. But anything other than that, they won't. So if you put in Mike Morris at Gmail without the .com, it's not properly formatted. The system knows that. So in the email address, you have to put in the word none or a properly formatted email address, and then it's happy. And obviously, you would fill in any other information that you have for Sean, or sorry, for Michael. So I'm hitting save. So now we have and great, now I don't need to schedule a follow-up. So I'm going to click OK because I haven't created my opportunity yet. So right now I have contact record 55367. That's his email address. That's his phone number. Both of those will launch the phone call, the activity. So if I click on phone call now, it will launch the phone call activity to record a phone call for him. But I don't want to do that right yet. Do you want to save your changes? No. So currently I have created my contact. Now I want to add my opportunity. So I'll click on add opportunity, and hopefully you recognize this screen from the lead screens. Same concept, except you're filling it in. The opportunity screen was partially filled in by your customer by the web form that they filled in. So here I'll put in 2021 road trek, versatile, And if I could keep my cap locks on, there you go. Source, web lead, RV trader, unit. They're looking for a class B. Again, everything here and in the web lead came from the web lead until you called Sean Cahill and got more information. Everything here now is coming from Mike Morris sitting in front of you or from your notes if he's already left. Y'all don't have road tricks, I don't think. Now these, I made a big to-do. Yeah, there's no road tricks here. I made a big to-do about how you can type over down here. These you can't because these are coming from your inventory. So if you do, you the thing you're trying to or they're trying to look at, you don't have in stock, then that's going to be that there'll be nothing here. So just put up here whatever they want, which is actually just as well because this is what you would search up here. Everything else is kind of the same. I'm looking for a road trek from 2020 to 2022. List price 50 to 100, length 19 to 21, I believe they make them, or maybe 23 foot. I want to search my inventory. I want to see what Class B motorhomes do I currently have. So if I click right here, that will bring open the search inventory screen, and it found nothing. But by default, it only looks in the location I'm in, which is TXC. I'm going to change that to all, or actually, I'm going to just get rid of it. I don't want that to be a filter. I'll hit search again. So it found two Class B motorhomes at the HOU location, a Freed and Haba unit. Now that is falling in within the 2021 to 2022 I have down here. I wonder if I got any older ones. So at this point, I can just change it back, say 2015. I have no idea, but we'll find out in a second. I'll hit search again. Yep, and you got a few more. 2017, 2019. Well, let's go for everything. Let's see 2023. And so right now you have 6. Does it change? Wow. Yes, it does. You have quite a few. And of course, that these would be new. But the guy's only looking for used. So come here, click on used, and hit search again. So now we went from 8 or 6 to 28. That hit search again, and now we're back to 5 used ones in there. This is an excellent screen for y'all to get very good with. Hopefully y'all kind of understand what this column here, status, means. Status is A is available, or SA would be sold available, O would be on order, SO would be sold on order, and the last status that's not there would be FS, final sold. But you guys don't need to see that right now because you're trying to sell something. FS means it's already sold. So how did I access this screen? Kind of go back. When you have something here and you click on search inventory, the system is going to use that criteria. In this case, Class B motorhome 2020, 2022, 2020 to 2022. It didn't find anything at this location. Then I changed it to all by just getting rid of that, saying, hey, don't limit me by location. I want to search all locations. And of course, at this point is when I did the other stuff. I did 2015, hit search again. So a very good screen to get very familiar with. And let's just say I don't have the road trek he wants, but he likes that one right there. So I come back down here and I go to stock number and I just put that stock number in there. I hit tab and that brings in a Tiffin 19, says $205,000 and whatever he's looking for. And of course, it filled in this for you because it is an in-stock item. But he's looking for the road trek, so I'm going to leave that up there. But I actually will add that also. He's now considering a road trek, or he's considering, I can't pronounce that, Kaharba, whatever, however you pronounce that. He's looking at that also. So I updated my opportunity name. So 2 months from now, I can type in versatile or that word CHABA, and I will find this opportunity. Down here, where did I leave with Matt? We're actually going to give this guy a quote. So I'm going to click on quote given. Over here, what do I think he'll end up spending? Well, he's took on 205 and he didn't balk, so I'll put in 200,000. And by the way, in our system, if you don't put in decimals, it will always assume the cents. So I just put in 5 zeros, and when I hit tab, it just assumes no pennies right here. I think he's hot. I'll put that in here. Don't need a tow vehicle. Say there's no trade. Any comments that you wish to put down here would be down here, and we'll hit save. Now, again, in this scenario, he is sitting in front of me. So I'm going to give him a quote now. So up here, I'm going to click on new and create sales quote. You guys probably don't have F&I quote and you have everything else, but you might not have F&I quote, or that might be grayed out. Most of the time, they give salespeople the access to sales quotes and F&I people the access to F&I quotes. So I'm going to click on sales quote. And that will open up my sales quote screen. I have 2 monitors, by the way, if you think of why is he dragging this over. When I launched it, it opened up on the other monitor. But when I clicked on new, add a quote, it gave me a new quote number. It brought in the customer number. And just before it puts a stock number there, it's saying, warning, unit is stocked in the HOU. It will have to be transferred if you sell it. So that's not an error message. That's just a notification saying, hey, the TXT location, the one I'm logged into now, will have to have this post or transferred to their location if Michael buys it. So you just click OK, and then it'll put the stock number right there. Now we're going to kind of hit sales quotes. And again, I'm watching my chat and I see nothing coming up. So I'll just kind of keep watching. I don't see anything there. Up here, this is your numbers without a sales tax or taxes and fees. Or there's some fees here, and these are your numbers with taxes and fees. All of these should be defaulting in. Now, at this point, this part I don't know, but this is up to you. Make sure these are all right. Is $33 correct for title and registration? Is 150 right? 1475 and license fee nothing. If it's not right, then change it. So I'll just kind of leave it at that. Make sure that these fees and right. So your tax should be right. There should be no issue with that. And it's just charging the sales tax on top of the net sale. As a freebie or something, say that you're doing a unit that involves no sales tax. He's out of state or something like that. And I'm not sure if you would get involved in that. So I'm just going to show you how to do it. And if you are, then you do it. If you don't. But this override button here, you could come up here and say no sales tax. Hit 0, hit 0, click OK, and then sales tax is 0. So it's totally, that's how you override the sales tax if you need to have a different sales tax in there than what it is. Now we do have a code called EXD, so I could have hit that and hit tab. But that comes up with this little screen here, tax exempt number, which no big deal. Just put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if they have one. And now it will change it to 0. So either just zero it out or choose that one. Actually, I think we also have one out of state. All three of those ways zeros out the tax is totally up to you. So let me go back and Texas unit tax. And there we go. Again, you would fill these in if they're right. The best way to learn the sales quote screen, if you have not visited the screen, is work left to right. So I hit the main tab. I'm going to work left to right. I'm going to go to customer unit. Now here I have the buyer, Michael Morris, And co-buyer, say his wife is with him. So I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to create a new co-buyer. And up here, hopefully you recognize this from other applications, copy key data from customer. When I click on that, that's going to put his last name here. And if there had been a street address, it would have been here. And here you just put in the name. Donna, whatever the name is, cell phone numbers, driver's license numbers, social security numbers, whatever's appropriate. And you click OK. And now you have a buyer and a co-buyer. And at any time that you need to, say Donna wants to be the first on the title and Mike needs to be a second on the title, then you could swap it. Now you can do that, or the F&I department can do that. You both, once there is a co-buyer, you guys can swap it back and forth by using that button. Again, in the spirit of working left to right, I'm going to go ahead and click on quote details. And in quote details, the uppermost area is the trade. And trade type, I'll quickly go through it. Let's go ahead and go to travel trailer, manufacturer. Now, again, I can type in what I want to. I just typed in F and it picked up Forest River. And I will put in a vibe and 25 RK and 2021. At this point, you probably don't know the serial number. You may or may not, depends how your store goes, but allowance, whether you put that in or your manager puts it in. So for right now, I'll put it in. So again, I don't know who at your store would be appropriately to put the allowance in. Payoff, again, that's going to depend on you and the finance manager. Does he want salespeople to put the payoff in, or does he not want salespeople to put the payoff in? Again, totally up to you, but I will put in a payoff. And ACV, same thing I just said to those two fields. Is it appropriate for you to put it in? Then you put it in. If it's not, then don't. So just kind of what's the impact of all those numbers I put in? Well, let me go back to the main tab. And over here, now I see the trade allowance is 25 and the payoff's 15, and it just did the math for me appropriately, whatever that may have been. So I'll go back. So trade details, again, just kind of get used to it. It's kind of pretty straightforward. If you had more than one trade, if I hit add, watch what happens to all these. It goes blank. Now I don't have more than one trade, so I'll hit delete. And I'm back to just the one trade. So the quote details tab, again, as we're working left to right, has sub-tabs to it. And the sub-tabs start out with the dealer options. So recovery, SVR. I apologize. It's $600. I don't know what that is, but obviously you guys do. So that defaulted in. I didn't put that in manually. It came in. But you also have the option chooser down here in the lower right-hand corner. And when you click on the option chooser, pretty much always go to all options. And that will list all the different options that have been pre-built for you. So wouldn't be appropriate with Class B, but I'll put that in there anyway. Stackable washer and dryer, advanced package with. So get with your, I guess, your service department and your manager and find out, have a discussion about what you see here and what's appropriate for you to add or not add to the unit. But I just picked two kind of randomly that are in here, and that will bring in 548. Well, I mean, actually hit OK. Whatever ends up in price is going to increase the price. So that says 548. Let me go back to main for a second. So the price went up to 217. So if you can remember 217, I'm going to change this. I'm going to zero that out and go back to main again. And now it no longer. Well, zero. Oh, 548. I didn't lower it enough. So it says 217, 848. Remember 848 if you would. Okay. So now I'll come here, I'll zero it out. And I'll go back again. Now it says 217, 265. It just drops the price. So Whatever you put in the price is charged to the deal or the customer, however you want to look at it. Whatever is over here in cost is charged to the deal. It's like well, here I would assume that a washer and dryer, I have no idea pricing. Let's just say it costs $1,500. So I just charge the deal $1,500 and I charge the customer $1,800, or I charge the customer $2,000, whatever you want. Anything in cost is going to the deal, is paying for it. Anything in price, the customer's paying for it. Now, obviously, let's argue that this $1,500 is accurate. That is a right cost for that. Well, this number here could be $500. The deal's still going to get charged 500 or 1,500, but you're charging the customer 500. Or the customer says, "I want it for free," and I'll buy. So again, you change it to 0. But again, the deal will get charged $1,500 because that's what that costs. But then the customer didn't charge anything. Now your gross profit obviously went down because your cost went up, but the retail didn't go up. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. And we have, these are called pre-builts, but then we also have, I'm going to go all options. We have some miscellaneous ones here. So let me pick a couple of them. And it doesn't matter what number they are, just pick 3 of them. So you click on 3. And this is where you type in any promises you make the customer. Driver door. Now, more than likely, there's no cost to the deal and there's no cost to the customer to remove a scratch from the door. Deliver to campground. Now, more than likely, there is going to be a cost to you, the deal, by mileage or however you guys do costs. So I'll just put in 250. And then there may or may not be a charge to the customer to do that. Last but not least, let's actually, let's say that the awning was not a pre-build. Add 12-foot. So these miscellaneous ones, the ones that start out with M's, are for any dealer option that's not pre-built. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. So add awning. So you go to service. Hey, how much is an awning? 125. How much should I charge the customer? 150 or whatever. Then you have the 150. So the miscellaneous ones are for when you don't have a suitable pre-built dealer option. And where do you see all these things? Under option chooser. And then all your options are right here. The ones that are pre-built, you can add as many as you want to. But you guys have X. So it looks like you have, say, 30, something like that, pre-built already. And then you have these miscellaneous, these 10 miscellaneous for different type of dealer options. So with that being said, because I'm going to hit the save button, and then we're going to carry on. By the way, every time you hit save, it's always going to take you back to the main tab where you started at. It's always a good thing to hit your save button. And what I'm going to do is we'll resume in, and it'd be good to spell, right? And okay, I have 204. So I'm going to put in 215 here. So I'm going to leave that up and running. Anybody wants to take a break, anything like that, go ahead and come back in 10 minutes and 25 seconds, and then we will resume. All right. Thank you. Let us carry on, hopefully. We'll take another break at 3 o'clock. A short one like that one. Okay, where we left off at was, sorry, where we left at, well, off was, again, working left to right after you create a sales quote, and we were in the dealer options. And again, I'm working the sub tabs now. I call these the main tabs, and then once you're like these two did not have any sub tabs. Only the quote actually, I can say it a different way. The only one that has sub tabs is the quote details. So manufacturer options, this may or may not be filled in. This is done by your inventory clerk. Parts, um, this check with your manager on. This is where you could put in, let me just search for a part and I'll put in oil. Usually everybody has oil. So, oil filter. You can sell parts with a deal. Our system will allow it. Whether you guys allow it is the question. But anything that does not include labor, and it's a part, put the part number in, and that will relieve inventory after when it's sold, and life is good. If it does involve labor, then it has to be over here in dealer options. So a can of oil or an oil filter, a can of oil, a chair. So again, our system will allow you to sell parts with a deal, but will your manager, will the parts department, will the bank allow that to be part of the deal? That's another question. So again, the major criteria is if no labor is involved, go for it. Labor's involved, that's where it has to be put, because service is going to do that. Whereas service would have nothing to do with you grabbing an oil filter off the shelf and handing it to the customer. Extras, again, this will be up to your store manager. He will be the one to give you guidance, but I'm going to right click and I'll hit search. And extras are a charge for something that doesn't have a part number, like the part, or stock number. It's extra. So like bird dog fee. Okay, I'm not sure I haven't seen that before, but if you want to give the customer a $50, I'm assuming that's what this is for, or a $100 bird dog fee, you would put $100 here and price here. You wouldn't charge the customer for the bird dog fee, but you would charge the deal for the bird dog fee. So again, an extra is something that does not have a part number or a stock number. It's just an extra. And look to your store manager or sales manager. When should you use that? When you shouldn't use that. Now I want to get rid of this. How do I get rid of it? I'm going to right click and I'll hit delete row. Salespeople, again, you would probably want to put this in. This is who should be on the deal for commission purposes. So I'll just click on show all, and I'll just put on David here, and sales manager, show all. Once you know the codes, you don't have to do what I'm doing here. And I'm just obviously picking people by random. You would just put the code of whoever is appropriate. You can have up to 3 sales F&I managers, which you guys don't have that I know of, and you can have up to 6 salespeople that would be eligible for commissions. I guess that's how to look at it. Inclusions. Inclusions, more is for the boating industry than for the RV industry, but you could have it. It's when you want to include one stock number on another stock number. Like currently, this is stock number 8. I'm looking up here at the top here, R85500. That's a stock number of this Tiffin. If I wanted to add stock number 1, 2, 3, it's a other for a trailer, and I wanted to put in stock number 1, 2, 3, and that was a valid stock number, it would add it, and that list price would be added to the sale price of the unit here. So again, inclusions are mainly for the boating industry when you want to include one stock number on another. Now, actually, a good instance, because I did do it once. I was just when I was the F&I manager for Leisure Time RVs in Orlando. We had a fifth wheel in stock, and we had traded for a truck. And a customer saw the truck. He saw our fifth wheel. He liked them both. So I included both onto one sale. So that's how it's used. You just put in motor, trailer, and you guys would never do trailers, I don't think. So it'd always be other and then the stock number there. Tow vehicle, this is information only, but if you do fill this in and this does turn into a deal, then this tab will be in tab information will be available to your service department. So they know what tow vehicle and model and year and the towing capacity is. So basically information for the service department. Excuse me. Payments and tax. Just realize that this is talk only. Just what the customer proposes to put down. Somebody else in your store, your sales manager generally, or your F&I manager, the other general person that would actually take the money. The bottom line, there's somebody in your store designated to take money. You are just recording what's proposed to have. So I'll put in T for today's date, and I'll put in $1,000. $1,000, $500, whatever dollars that you want here. We do have lots of ways of putting in dates. If you notice, I put T in. If I double click, it'll bring me up a date picker and I can do whatever I want to. I put whatever date that I want there and then put whatever amount that I want there. But I realize that when you put this here, you're not taking the unit off the market at this point. And you're not receiving that into the system. You're just recording a, not fictitious, but a proposed down payment. Gross profit, you probably don't have that tab, so I'll skip over that tab. Comments, if you want to put any comments, doesn't really go anywhere. But if you want to have any comments that you want to remember about this quote that you are interested in, then put them there. Work orders, this is a nice screen for y'all. If there was any work orders currently, probably more used would be more needful than new. But if there was any work orders for this unit, you would see them there. And are they completed? Are they unbilled? Where are they? What's the current status with that work order for that coach? So that just finished off all the sub tabs of the quote details main tab. Quote history. This is every quote ever made on this coach. Has nothing to do with the customer. There could be 15 different customer names here. It's just all the different quotes. And what the deal amount was, and if a trade involved, what the trade is. So you kind of have a history of the quotes on that one. Financing, I call this financing light because you really can't do a lot of changing here other than the payment calculator. And managers, if you're on the call and you say, get rid of that, I can. We can get rid of that, but I like it. And bottom line, the salespeople will go to the internet anyway to get a payment. So however you want to do it. But the payment calculator, what that does, it brings in the numbers as they are. Excuse me. So 207, 335, we hit close and go back to main. If you notice 207, 335, after the trade allowance, after the down payment, after whatever. So the payment calculator is nice because it brings in the amount due at that point and says, okay, what's my payment at 120 months? Type in 120, you hit tab, and the payment is, wait for it, $2,300. What if our interest rate is 3%? Okay, now your payment's $2,000. So however you play with it, it's just don't look for magic here. It's a very straightforward, simple payment calculator. Okay, I'll hit close. And we have just finished off all the different tabs on here. Now, a couple things you can do after you hit the quote created. You can hit print and again, look to your manager for guidance, I guess would be the right word. So I'm clicking on print and I'm gonna hit print sales quote and sales quote and print. So I'm assuming that you have a printer attached to your computer or network to your computer. And then let me make it bigger. And then everything you just did is going to be, there's all your dealer options that you put in here. That's your trade here. That's all the different numbers down here, places for signatures and so forth. So this is a sales quote, not a purchase agreement. So I'm not sure how you guys look at that as far as binding or not binding, but There you go. At this point, you'd hit the printer icon upper right-hand corner and print it out if that was appropriate for you to do that. And that's it. I mean, that's the sales quote. It's hopefully very straightforward. How did we get here? We had our contact, who he is. Then we said add opportunity, which opened up this screen. I filled it in. Then again, I had the customers in front of me in this scenario. I clicked on create sales quote, and that brought in the information from the previous two screens here. Now, where does sales quote go into? Well, anytime you wish to, go back to the contact screen, go to quotes, and every quote you ever given him is sitting right here. If I double click on that quote, that will bring up that quote just as you left it. So as far as changing the numbers, what your security, or sorry, you can do it. So what's appropriate, I guess, good way of saying it, for you to do, see your manager. It brings in the default numbers when you create the quote, and then what you change them to is between you and management. But that quote will always be sitting here, and it'll show you 181 is the net quote that we went for there. So now let's say they didn't buy. They got all the numbers there, and they haven't bought yet, and they leave. Well, this is what I would do. First off, I would click the email up here to open up the email activity. Then I'd come over here to email templates. I'd go down here to the walk-in follow-up letter. That should say walk-in follow-up email. Apologize. And again, I'm not set up in your system, so I'll put my name in. Thank you for visiting Bunch. I appreciate the time you spent with discussing your recommendations. Is there any different way to say I help you? All of our customers look forward to part of the family. If you hope, it is our hope and feeling that you came away with a feeling that we offer more than you might expected. We pride ourselves on customer service, blah, 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 blah. So bottom line, thank you for coming by. Of course, you can add to this if you wish to add to it and type more things, but then come up here and hit send and complete, and that will send the email to Mike and his wife. And if you notice, by the way, because I put in Mike and Susan here, it says Mike and Susan there. And it did do the proper casing that I talked about earlier. It didn't do it in all capital letters. It put it how it should look there. And then you thank them for coming in. So that would be step one of this. In this scenario, the customer sat down while I did all that stuff. And let me just hit save here. I won't send it. I'll just hit save. Now, the second thing is I would go ahead and schedule a call with him. And today is Tuesday. Call Friday and see where they are at. Again, a note to yourself of, what you're going to do with the customer. I'll pick on Friday. Again, in the spirit of doing it before the end of the day, I'll put 5 p.m. Meaning again, that's just my thing. I want to call Mike before 5 o'clock. If I told Mike I was going to call him at 2 o'clock or 11 o'clock, then I'd put 2 o'clock or 11 o'clock there. But if it's just a non-timed committed call, I put 5 o'clock. That's my opinion. But again, I have now have a contact, I have an opportunity, and I have an open follow-up. That is a CRM entry. They all are one-to-one. At a minimum, you should always have those three. You should have all three. You should have who they are, what they want, who they are, what they want, and a follow-up to it. Let's take a quick look and see how that everything we just did a little bit here. How did that impact the home screen? So on the home screen, I now have 3 opportunities. Michael is sitting right here, and again, the rating I'll get fixed. But right now, I know the dates that I created these opportunities for these customers. I know what they're looking for. Down here, again, I just building as fast as I create contacts. They'll be down here. And you'll see what date you created them on very easily. Over here, all my different appointments with the customer will be sitting over here. So that's my call and see where they're at on Friday call, not till the 14th. And again, I haven't worked with this web lead yet. So I'm hoping that what you've seen in the last hour and a half, you're seeing that the system or the software you're using is not difficult. It's all about the process. When do you do what? Um, and where do you do most of your work? Most of your work, again, this is the coffee and donut screen to me. Your work is going to be in the opportunities as you're building these things up. This is where you're working and keeping your notes, keeping your rating correct. That's so irritating. I will get that fixed. By next time, hopefully by tomorrow, you'll see that that has hot, warm, or cold, or whatever you assign there. But you get to see the stage that they're at, what's the web lead source they're at. I'm going to take the escalator to the right a little bit. Um, if they had a trade, that'll be there. Just pretty much everything about the customer. And if you ever wanted to know more, then you just merely double click on it, and you no more. You have whatever. Um, and again, this is your electronic worksheet that you're working. Um, Leads, again, this is always going to show the one lead that's here. And then contacts, two major buckets. Excuse me. Two major buckets you're going to be using here. I'm not sure why you would use this one. This location, just the Texas location. To me, the two major buckets you're going to use is your contacts or all. So your contacts are just your people. All contacts allows you to search the entire company's 75,000 or whatever you guys have as far as contacts. There. Um, and I'm hoping that you all are still there and you're not just. Um, is there any? I haven't had any questions yet. Is there anybody that has? I'm looking at my chat now. Um, um, I don't want. Okay. Ooh, one thing I haven't shown you. Again, I'm in the home screen. See this little steering wheel up here? I'm going to move back to say contacts or activities. If I go to activities, I don't have anything like that there. So let me go back to home again. Kind of a nifty little thing. So this little steering wheel up here, if you click on that, we called it products. And that's actually all of your inventory. So I've never launched this before on this logon. So that's why these are checked or not checked. So I'm going to click on show me all available. And just in the TXT location, hit select inventory. So this is an easy way of like your TXC store has 126 units in it. It would be very nice, and we can't do it though, if you could pick out just the Demontrond stores inventory, but your only choice is either a location, one at a time, or all. I'll hit search again, and you have all locations. Now, you still can work with this though, is that if you choose all, you guys have 780, but you can come here and say, okay, you can identify which ones are the Demontrond inventory. So click on Houston, and you just see the 325 are the Houston stores. And then you can sort them, by the way. If I click on manufacturer, I'll see them sorted, or I could filter them. I could say, just show me the Jaycos and just sort them by type. So all my B's are on top. I have some B's and C's on the Jayco. And then I can say, okay, just show me all the ones that are in. Now there's only those types in CNR and TVA. So I go to CNR and you have one that matches that criteria. And if I go to TVA, you have, wait for it, one that matches that one. So even though location, you can only choose all or one location, you can kind of navigate back and forth up here once you selected that. So just be mindful. That's how the system is. And fifth wheels, I want to see all the fifth wheels in the company. Oh, no, this is in TXT now, or TXC. So you guys at that store, Texas store, have 12 fifth wheels sitting there. And you can sort them by price. Every time you click on a header, like that's going to sort it from least expensive to the most expensive. If I reverse it, that'll put the most expensive on top and so forth. So that little is nice to have, that little steering wheel to show you your inventory anytime that you want to see it. Let me look at my agenda here real quick. And is there any, my agenda was CRM, this dashboard management, this what you're seeing right here, to talk about leads. Actually, I'll kind of do a summary here. We might be done a little bit early. Just realize your open web leads by 5 p.m. should be empty because you have either qualified or disqualified that lead before 5 o'clock. So basically at 5:01, there might be something there if you have to go leave at 5, but I think you know what I mean. That should always be empty. This should never have anything in it with today's date in it at 5 p.m. It should only have future dates in it because they're due in the future and not due today. So no 411s should be here at 5. This is just gonna, this is just gonna grow. It doesn't matter what location. Now I've created all these customers in the TXC location, but if I was at another location and logged in and created a customer, it could say CNR or whatever location may be, but it's still owned by you. You see your contacts no matter where they were created at. Location doesn't dictate who owns the customer. And then your opportunities. Again, the only thing you're not seeing, which I wish you did, is the rating here, which again, I'm gonna set in the help ticket second we get done to have that. I'm gonna go back to my chat window. I don't see anybody asking any questions. The only real difference between a web lead or a walk-in is a web lead is electronic. And so when a web lead comes in, I'll double click on Harvey here. Now Harvey is in the system already. Actually hit close here. See how Harvey's down here? I have already, this is under my contacts, Harvey already is in the system, but Harvey sent in a web lead 2 weeks after he came in, which is totally permissible. You can't stop customers from sending web leads in, don't want to. So when you hit this one, Harvey, again, this is 2 weeks after he has created it. When I click on qualify, now watch what happens in the center here. It does find a match. Remember the other one, it said no records found? Well, the system's saying, hey, I think there is a customer that matches that web lead. I think it's this one here. So the system by default is saying, don't create a new contact. You may create a new opportunity. Maybe maybe the thing he was in 2 weeks ago was on X, and now he's looking at Y. Now, if it's within a reasonable amount of time frame, I probably wouldn't create a new either. I wouldn't even create a new opportunity. I would just add to the opportunity whatever he's looking in this new lead that he sent in. And again, that's totally up to you. Can you have multiple opportunities open and running at one time for a customer? Yes, you can. I don't think that's the case, though, unless you think they're going to buy multiple items. Again, I'll use the boating industry. If they were going to buy a yacht and a tender, then yeah, you'd have a yacht opportunity and a tender opportunity. RV industry, generally speaking, it's, again, can you have multiple opportunities? Yes. But if they're only going to ultimately buy one thing from you, that's your feeling, then I wouldn't even create a new opportunity. I would just hit qualify, which will put this customer, I'll hit qualify, by the way. Watch what happens to, hit cancel here real quick. I'll show you what I'm talking about when I say that. And I'll actually close this. Do you want to change it? No, I don't want to save changes. So Harvey's here. And again, I'm going to double click on Harvey. I got that web lead in. My boss gave it to me. The first thing I do is I look down here and I see, oh, there's a match. That's what that C stands for, is a contact. There's a contact match in it. So I'm pretty darn sure when I hit qualify, it's going to find something it thinks is a contact. And sure enough, it did. And so I'm going to say merge this web lead to this contact. Don't create me a new contact. I already got one. And you know what? Don't even create me an opportunity. He's only going to buy one unit. I just want to merge this lead into this contact. So I'm going to hit qualify. Same thing here. You're going to see the red jacket up here. And when you look at that, there's that web lead that you qualified sitting down here. And if I go back to manager, there ain't nothing here because I associated that lead into that contact. I made the association. I don't need a separate item here. It is sitting right here, and any subsequent leads he sends in we'll just keep adding to it, because obviously everybody in this call knows people can send in multiple web leads all day long. They do, which is a good thing. So again, that would always be empty on here. I don't want to be long-winded and just keep on talking without is there anyone that has any questions? I don't have the ability to unmute all. I wish I did. So you would have to unmute yourself. Is there anybody that has any questions about anything? We have done it all. This is every scenario. We've entered somebody in from the web that came in. Oop, is that a question?
When will we get the recording and how do we access it?
You get the recording, like it's 2:45 right now. Usually it takes about, I think, a half hour, maybe 45 minutes to do whatever rendering it does. And then I have a listing of everyone that's on the, take it back. Who are you?
Ray to the service office, Ray.
Perkins.
Service office.
Perkins, I see it. Okay. In 45 minutes, roughly, I'm going to take this video, upload it to YouTube, and then send you, Mr. Perkins, the link to the YouTube video.
That'd be great. Thank you.
And is there anything I haven't, anything you did, seeing how you spoke up, I get to pick on you now if it's okay. Did you see anything new that you didn't know before?
Yes. But I had a couple of interrupting phone calls during the session. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Okay. I do hope sincerely, I realize this will make you, actually, I know one thing I haven't shown, and we'll get off, is searching. Duh. So it's 6 months later after I enter this stuff in, kind of pretend that. So, and I get in, I go to my opportunities, and I come down to here, and I say, again, that's 6 months later, and I got 150 opportunities sitting in here, and I get in the 310 RLTS. So if I type in 310 RLTS, and again, if you notice, I did that in lowercase. I'm going to change it to uppercase, but it does not matter, actually. I'm just trying to be perfect. So I type in 310 RLTS. I'm going to hit search. Watch what happens up here. I have that in 2 different places for Mr. Cahill and for Mr. Harvey Specter. I'm going to type in 30 to 35. I'm going to hit search again. Now, theoretically, I should only see one result. And I do. Now I'm going to type in 30 to 34. I should see no results because I didn't put that in any of them. A couple other things on fun searching. Let's go to this one, I believe. Let's go. Oh, okay. That wasn't the right one. Let's go to This one, we'll try this one. This is cool. This is worth waiting for a couple seconds. You're all getting about an hour off early, so there you go. See how I have Alpha Light 29 RK down here? So again, 6 months from now, a customer comes in and says, hey, you know what? I really like those Alpine lights. Oh, they are made up in Washington, Yakima, or someplace like that. They were really nice looking. Do y'all ever get those in? And you go, I think I have a customer that wanted to trade it. So I'm going to type in Alpine light. And I'll just type in Alpine, not the whole kit, we'll just ALPEN, and I'll hit search. Again, watch what happens up here. And now I open that bad boy up just to confirm, and I'll say, come on, baby. Ooh, Sean Cahill, he's the one that had the Alpine light. So in here, let me go to my OneNote and search fields. I've used this screen before. These are all the fields that you can search for in an opportunity. And let me make it bigger. And what I want you to do is try it. Any words you type in opportunity name, anything you put in the source description, anything you put in the stock number later on, any type of thing in the stock number interest field, unit, brand, model, year, length, closing revenue, all the trade information, anything I highlighted in yellow are all searchable 6 months from now or 2 years from now. And that is the beauty of putting this data in here. Again, I put something relative down here, Gen prepped. In the comments, I put Gen prepped. Let me close this up. Go back here, Gen prep. I'll hit search. Actually, let me get rid of that real quick and hit search. Okay, I got 3. I put in Gen prep. Only one of the 3 did I put that, but the significance is where I put that at. I put that in the comments, and it still found it here. Now, everyone on this call has heard the term garbage in, garbage out. If you put in Gen prepped and then you search for generator prepped 6 months from now and you hit search, you will find nothing because you didn't put in generator prepped in the notes on there. So be mindful of how you enter stuff in. The reason we use the opportunity name so much for the heavy lifting of searching is because I see it. Comments I don't see unless I open it up. So I open it up, then yes, I see the comments at the bottom, but I have to open it first. Whereas the opportunity name, I don't have to, I see the opportunity name. And do realize that you could type in 70 characters there if you wanted to, and each character or word would be searchable. And if you did exceed it, actually go back there again. And then we'll be actually done, but hold on 1 second because this is cool. So the opportunity name, I'm going to go to the end here, and I'm just going to type in garbage letters. And then 111111111. So I typed in lots of letters there, 50 characters or whatever you want to call it. So the opportunity name is limitless, what you type in there. And when you look at your screen, you can actually expand it and see the whole kit and caboodle you typed in there. So it's darn cool that it searches all 17 fields in the opportunity. But the reason that we emphasize putting in good information here is because I can see all my opportunities in one fell swoop and whatever keywords I put in here. So kind of think of the opportunity name as a keyword search field also, because it's truly what it is. And it will find whatever you're looking for. So as I explained to Mr. Perkins, it's going to take about a half hour, 45 minutes for this video to render. When it does, I am going to send, well, actually, I can get a list of everybody that's on here. I'm going to do my best to send this to everyone because I can get a list of this. I have a hand up. Hold on 1 second. Sean, did you have a question? What's your question?
I'm not sure if you can hear me.
I can.
Oh, okay. So I had been trying to speak to you in the chats, but I don't know what's going on there. Can we edit old quotes?
Yes. Let me go to Michael. That's what we did with it. So I'm going to go to Michael Morse, the contact I created the quote for. I'm going to go to quotes, and this is a very good question she asked, by the way. I'm going to double click on the quote, and I can come in here and wait for it. Come on, baby. There you go. I can change anything I want to, but it begs a question. If this is going to be on a different unit, I would just create multiple quotes for Mike Morris. I wouldn't change this quote. I would create a different quote. But if it's just numbers changing on this stock number, then yes, just change all the numbers you need to.
And then lastly, can we set out reminders for more than say 2 months out? You know how when you add a lead and
Mhm.
it'll let you put in, say for instance, callbacks or little notes, and it'll set a reminder for 2 days. It'll give you a couple options in the drop down box. Can you set a custom reminder?
Yes, you can. So depends on what you want to. I would say phone call, probably the most common. So you click on the phone number field. That brings up the phone call task. So just I'll put in reminder, whatever words you want. But here, I could just go out to August.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yep. Whatever you want there. Yes, ma'am. And that's actually, if you don't mind me bringing up one more point, I like the idea that you ever have the guy that says, "Hey, I'm not buying right now. We are going to buy, but I'm going to Puerto Rico for 4 years to do a job. But when me and my wife get back, I'm going to um, come in and see you and buy that road trek." And so what I would do is set out a reminder 3.5 years from now to shoot him an email and saying, "Hey, you back from Puerto Rico yet? And come on down." Why not? Set these reminders up, because all that's going to happen for this reminder here when I hit save. So if you would, I have the word reminder up here. So if y'all can remember, under subject, I have the word reminder. I'm hitting save. And I'll close it up. And if I go to my follow-up straight down here, I'm going to hit refresh. And no one should see the word reminder here. Why? Because it's set out to 2000, whatever it was, 2025. That will only appear in this box 7 days before that scheduled follow-up in 2025, and then it'll pop up, and you'll go, "Whoa! I forgot all about that guy. How's he doing? What downside can there be to creating some?" She said it perfectly. What downside if you set up a follow-up in 6 months from now? It pops up. And you don't want to do it. Right click on it, hit delete. That's the only downside. It causes you 2 clicks. I would schedule a follow-up on every single person before you're done with them, before you move on to the next person, because the only downside to scheduling a follow-up is when it pops up here, whenever you put the date on it. The only downside, you got to do that if you don't want to do it. The upside, you call them up and they buy something. There's no downside to it. I'm trying to be, hopefully you got that part I'm trying to emphasize. There's no downside to always having a follow-up for every customer, because there's no work on either doing it because it's profitable, you made your money, or you don't want to do it, hit delete, get rid of it. You don't need to do it now. So that was 2 cool questions. Anybody else have anything else before we are getting down quite early? So, okay. Again, the video is coming out. We are going to have the same meeting. I'm not sure if anybody ever wants to attend. You probably don't need to, because you'll have the recording. But if you want to attend the other 2 meetings, I think that's up to your management. But they're going to be the exact same meeting. My name is Mark Berggren. I got to meet some of y'all. I am fully vested in y'all using this system. It will make you money. Good data input. and good naming convention, so you can pull, and keyword search convention, so you can pull that information up later, is huge, and it will make you lots of money. So with that being said, I thank you very much, and you guys go sell some RVs. Take care.